Good afternoon and welcome to North Jersey Villages in the Hub. This Wednesday, we have with us a few investigators from Bergen and Passaic County Division of Consumer Affairs. And we're looking forward to hearing what's current on fraud and scams. Not really looking forward, but we should know what's happening. We have with us today Denis Niland, Investigator Denis Niland, Investigator Brian Downing, and I'm actually going to hand over this presentation to them. We thank our North Jersey Villages board member, Terry Van Delden, who put together this program. We're very grateful to her efforts, and for our technical board member, Columbus Kim, who is going to keep us online. So Denis, I'm going to hand this program over to you now, you and Brian. So
we thank you for the opportunity to be here today. My name is Denis Niland. I'm an investigator for the Division of Consumer Affairs. Along with me is investigator Brian Downing, who was also an investigator at the same division. We're going to go to a PowerPoint in a second. There'll be a couple places where we'll ask for some audience participation. Otherwise, we ask you to keep your mics muted, and the program will move along quickly. This program is brought to you and hosted by, made possible by the Bergen County Executive James Tedesco and the Board of County Commissioners. A little bit about our division. We have 3 different functions. So if you ever have a problem in the future, we do investigations. If you have a complaint, we follow up on it. Enforcement and education and outreach programs like we're doing today. All our people are retired police officers from different agencies throughout the county. We all have to go through a training course with the Attorney General's office in New Jersey and get certified before we could be an investigator. And we're all retired in law enforcement, so we're just working 29 hours or less a week. We have a great website with a lot of information. It's www.bergenpassaicconsumeraffairs.com. There's a ton of information on there. And we also have a Facebook page under Bergen County Consumer Affairs. And there's a lot of stuff on recalls, various scams that come out, things that are in the news. There's not a lot of fluff. We put things up that are meaningful. So if we encourage you to sign up and get alerts from us. As things come in, we put them out. So we handle all kinds of complaints from everything from furniture, home improvement, problems with cars, problems at retail places. It has to be some type of consumer fraud and certain laws that we go by. You have a couple different options to use us or to go to civil court, or maybe start with us. You may have to go to civil court. But in any case, when a complaint comes in or you start having a problem, the best thing to do is create a log. And the more help from the consumer, the better it is for the case. So anything like a timeline, names of people you talk to, photos, if something's broken or damaged, take a picture of it right away, save all your documents, your bills, receipts. And when you do make purchases, you have a lot more protection with a credit card. Less protection with wire transfers and cash. Okay, just looking at a couple stats. out of frauds that are reported to the FTC, New Jersey ranks 19th. And these are just ones that are reported. So many people go on with they're a victim of a fraud and they don't report it to the FTC. And the FTC, the federal government, is allowed to allocate money once they see certain trends in frauds and different things. So if we look at the top frauds, the top three are imposter scams, debt collection, and identity theft. I'm going to talk a little bit about imposter scams and identity theft today. And at the bottom, you can see my arrow further to the right are senior people, and to the left is younger people. The amount of money they get from seniors, because you have a nest egg, is a lot more in these frauds than younger people. Although younger people, frauds happen to more often, they get the money losses a lot less. In 2020, 2.2 million frauds were reported, totaling a 3.3 billion in losses. And the biggest point of contact where a fraud initiates is on the phone. Happens other places too, but on the phone is where most of the scams happen. So all those robocalls, we don't want you answering. And the biggest amount of money lost is through wire transfers. People will, in a scam, sometimes ask you to do a wire transfer because they know there's no way to even get the money back. So we're going to do a little exercise here. I'm going to give you 10 seconds. You tell me what you see.
Man and a woman under a tree.
Now, everybody sees things differently. This is a chance where the audience can just make a couple comments. What did you see?
6 faces.
Okay, 6 faces. Someone said a tree also.
Yeah, we had it.
Yeah, I only saw the couple under the tree.
Okay, so everybody sees things a little different.
Oh,
How much stress we're under, if we're busy, if we're just sitting around thinking. Everything comes to us in a different manner. So counted about 10 faces. So it's amazing. I only gave you 10 seconds, but if I was to show you another example like this, I'm sure you would get a lot more because now you've been alert. And that's why we're trying to just go over scams and frauds and make you alert, and sort of like a car getting a tune-up. So some of these scams you heard of, some of these are new, and they've incorporated some things with COVID in. In fact, the first 4 months of COVID, first 3 months of COVID, the FTC got 18,235 complaints, over $13.44 million in scams involving the coronavirus. And they involve things like phishing, robocalls, imposter scams. We're going to go over. One of the biggest problems when COVID started was price gouging. And what we found is the law is written where the governor has to declare a state of emergency before this law could go into effect. And then they can raise the price no higher than 10% from what it was being sold before the state of emergency. And then we found that a lot of businesses that weren't even selling this type of merchandise began to sell it. Like I went on a complaint at a bagel store. They were selling masks and gloves and face shields. What we also found out is that the stores themselves were getting overcharged by the people that were selling it. That was allegedly wholesale. They were pretty much selling it for a retail price. So when anybody contacts you, you got to think, slow down the process. Like you only had 10 seconds to do that perception thing. Who's the message from? What do they want you to do? And what evidence supports the message? Just slow down the process.
Short.
So there's been some cases where people get false text
Hold on, let me put it
scams
on
on
mute.
their phones. And there's a link to click on. I wouldn't click on the link unless you registered, say, for a COVID vaccine at a certain place, and those are the people that contact you. That would be the only time, but they may offer other things from the economic relief loans and packages waiting for you. Also, people have bought, these people that were scammers have bought some domains and websites that appear to be a COVID-19 spoofing on the websites. Look at the top of the email that comes in, see who it's from. Don't immediately click on things.
You also have to make sure that when you look at the website or the event, make sure that the grammar and that the way things are worded is proper, because we find that a lot of these stolen websites, you read them, the grammar is off or the spelling is off because it's coming from overseas, and they're not saying the things the way it should be said. So you may catch a phrase or something being said and you realize that, wait a minute, this isn't right.
This is actually a fake website. I'll talk about it a little further in the program. Also, when you think you're getting a bargain, here they were selling medical surgical face masks with a pack of 50 for $10.99. When you're quick to click on, add to the cart and then ship. Well, the shipping is $369.98. But you're agreeing to that because you want the items quickly. So make sure you read the shipping costs as well as the cost of the product, and make sure it's a good working, reputable site. And that was actually on Amazon, so you're supposed to trust them, but sometimes even on Amazon there's okay, this is an example of a woman's voice. Says she was working with Medicare and the National Health Insurance Program to distribute tests for COVID-19, the disease caused by coronavirus. All she needed, the woman said, was Lorena's name, address, Social Security, and Medicare information, and she'll get a free testing kit. Right now, they're just in the phase of making an at-home testing kit. There has been none before this. A lot of products will use things like Shark Tank and the Today Show and put a little logo on it to make it look legit. Do a little research on the product before you purchase it. Sometimes they'll say this helps with coronavirus, COVID-19. We got an antivirus kit, maybe just a bunch of vitamins, essential oils, things like that. Unproven products that claim to be effective in preventing, treating a condition of the illness. I think they're up to hundreds of companies now. At the time I did this, it was 25 companies that they were investigating. I think it's well over 100. Same kind of thing. They throw the little Today Show, a little picture of Fauci in there, and everything looks legit. This is a recent picture of a product that was seized by customs, virus shutout, and it's targeting, I think, Korean people. And also they seized 13.5 million N95 masks that weren't really N95 masks, and lanyards that's supposed to protect you also. The Daily News had something with a post about these products just a couple weeks ago. As of now, there's no home vaccine and there's no magic cure. And soon there will be a home testing kit, but I don't think it's out yet. This hasn't happened around here, but it could happen around here. A fake testing site set up where they charge $240 per test. This was in Kentucky. They took your personal information. So whoop, there we go, identity theft and insurance. And we say always check and verify that the site is a good site. Here they just set up a white tent, put on a couple of white suits, and when the media showed up, they ended up leaving the area. Remember, the phone is where the most scams happen. And robocalls. The best thing to do is not answer them, because all they'll ask about is car warranty, house warranty, solar, lower credit card rates, student loans, third-party electric, and COVID products. So you can't get into trouble if you don't answer the phone. If it's important, the person will leave a message. So we'll leave a message. If somebody sends you a check, just don't go out and check, cash it or deposit it, because then the other people will have your bank account number. Only if you're expecting a check. You know, some of us may get greedy and say, whoa, someone sent me a check, and then I throw this in the bank. But there's always a catch to it.
Yeah, and usually there's fine print or something that's on there that after you sign it, that you're also agreeing to something else.
Okay, also be careful when people send you, or you go on links, make sure it's a government link. Here, someone had showed me the same exact link where things were explained. Here, they just want you to click on this link, and you don't know where it's going to take you. So read everything over carefully. Charities, whenever there's a disaster, a disease, or people die, charities are set up. Make sure you're given to a legitimate charity. New Jersey has a list. It's even a link on our website that connects you to the state to verify a registered charity. And there's also some organizations that keep tabs on them and how much they donate out of the money they get. Imposter scams. There's so many of them. Whether it's IRS, Medicare, Social Security, government, bank, Microsoft technology, Apple, sweepstakes, court, many more. And some of them are seasonal. IRS comes up every year. They should be coming up now, so don't linger on your returns. Try to do them right away if you file a return. Otherwise, somebody could file, get your information and file in your name and get a refund. 2020, there was 350,000 fraud reports, losses over $245 million, 5 from reputable sites. This is an example of somebody that stole the Walmart website, and they named it techmalls.com, took all the Walmart stuff off, made the prices super appealing. And when we looked into it, it came back to Oakland, New Jersey. It was a vacant house. They must have seen that somebody wasn't living there. They registered the website as that address, and there was no such website, no products. IRS, we know to be super careful over IRS. They're not going to call you on the phone. You may get an email at your bank. You'll have the logo of the bank with court subpoena, Medicare, Social Security, send you an email for you to click or unzip something, unzip a file. This is called phishing, and this is how they acquire some information. Usually you'll get something in the US mail. You won't get it by phone or computer. This is just an example of something I got on my emails at home about your order. Just click here. They know everybody uses these companies. Here, this is a fake thing I got from Verizon. Click on the link. We need to confirm information. You will not, believe it or not, this happened to a lot of people. Some people are embarrassed to admit it. They just let their guard down, actually, and they were concerned about their family. The imposter pretended to be a family member that somebody maybe got hurt or got kidnapped. I've also seen that they got arrested for drunk driving and they need the bail. And they're in another city. And there's actually 2 calls. They'll call you back. The bail bondsman call you back. They pretend to be your grandchild or a relative. And it'll go on and on. I had them on the phone once for 10 minutes telling me what happened, and I went along with it. And at the end, they said, I love you, Grandpa. I said, I love you too, Ricky. And then I hung up the phone, and the secondary phone call was coming in to collect the money, which was supposed to be the bail bondsman person. This is one we see a lot, the lottery or the sweepstakes scam. Somebody calls and says you want a cruise, maybe out of Florida, that you don't get a ticket down there and you have to pay the taxes and other fees, upfront port fees. When in fact in New Jersey, if you win a prize, you don't pay anything. Eventually they'll get you for taxes, but right up front, you don't pay anything to get your prize. This happens both on the phone and it could happen on the computer. Depends if you clicked on other links before. With Microsoft, they'll say, this is Microsoft, you have a virus in your computer, and are you in front of your computer? Now, some people go in front of their computer, some people are in front of their computer. They'll ask you some questions and to open a couple things, and it will look like there's a virus, but it's really part of the operational system. But they'll ask you to click on a couple things, and then they are actually able to access your computer. So you'll know if something's wrong with your computer. Fake hiring scams, if you're looking for a job, some people are looking for jobs now. Here they were giving away a computer and stuff to the first people that responded, or an iPhone, and they're gonna collect all your information. We'll get you working soon. What's your social security number? You know, if I'm going for a job, I like to see people face to face and not apply on the computer. So it could be for a mystery shopper, it could be work at home type job. They all sound good, but some of those people are scammers. We just had Valentine's Day. There's a lot of romance scams and they work a little different. All these other scams are like a hit and run. They get you right away, they take your money right away. Dating scams, things go on for months and then you get ripped off. And this is the most amount of money in percentage that is taken. So some advice: never give your last name, email address, or home address, your phone number, place of work. Stop communicating with anyone that pressures you for personal finance or financial information. I had a lady at $29,000, she got ripped off. She sent $1,000 29 times through Western Union because someone fell in love with her after 8 months and wanted to help her invest in high yield bonds. And she's like, I'm so stupid. I'm like, you're not stupid. You let down your guard for just a couple of minutes. And usually they never see the person. This is like imposter scam versus romance scam. on how much they get. The chart. Identity theft, the theft or misuse of personal identifying information in order to gain valuable or facilitate other criminal activity. So it could be for financial gain, medical gain, to open credit cards. These are all examples of why they would steal your identity. And if you see the chart that's on the screen, you could see since 2001, it just keeps climbing like a mountain as far as how many cases each year. And it can happen a lot of different ways. You don't shred your envelopes. If you lose your wallet or it gets stolen at the supermarket, you're not paying attention, you got your purse open and your coupon wallet is right next to it and you're in and out of there and bending over looking at the products. Someone could take your wallet, a burglary, skimming, computer hacking, and then regular scams and data breaches, which you have no control over. Also, protect your information at home. You may have nurses' aides, you may have people coming to home improvement to work on your house. You may have an emergency and have like utility people in. You may have salespeople coming. These are all people that could walk by your counter where all your bills and your credit card information is out and just take 2 pictures and have all your account numbers. So always cover it up or put it away when you're done working on it, because you never know when you're going to have people in your home. Also, if you are a victim of identity theft, file a complaint. I always say to the local police department, they can't always solve it, but at least you have documentation when this process started. Also, to notify some of these agencies, like the Federal Trade Commission, the Social Security, credit agencies, if your motor vehicle information was taken. We have a booklet that's available to people. Feel free to contact us and we'll get it to you on what should be done. It's a guide and how the letters should be written. It'll help out a lot when you're under heavy stress. And a few tips on other things like video conferencing. Try and use passwords if it's especially if it's family or business meeting. Encryption if some of these companies have it. Keep your software up to date because every time they find there's a problem, they incorporate that in the updates. Updates are usually for free. If you get up to leave, turn off your camera. Also, with travel has been changed a lot during this COVID crisis. Not that these are frauds, but you should watch out for yourself. Ask questions. Will you get a refund or will you only get points back? Or will you get money back? How long are the points good for? How long is the credit good for? What if you test COVID positive within the couple of days of going on a trip? What's your options? Read and understand your documents before you book, before you sign. If necessary, like bring a friend with you, bring a family member if you're going to book something. Same thing with cruises. After this is over, they'll be starting up again. Always read everything on a contract. Do the research, check the company, get references, especially like with solar panels, home improvement. Make sure the contract, even catering halls, we had a lot of complaints on people's things got canceled, and in some of the contracts, they would do their money back on the deposit. So make sure things are in the contract that should be. This is just an example. People did a driveway. To do the driveway, the contractor's got to be registered, have a copy of the insurance, finish date. All these things are on our website. But here, in small writing, he had if there's more than one layer of blacktop, there'll be additional charges. So the contract was over $20,000. It added another $6,000 just because there was other blacktop underneath. But the person signed the contract. So that's kind of hard for consumer affairs to get involved with it. Watch for other things from the utility companies and electric companies, things called cramming and slamming. Cramming, other companies are allowed to put charges on your telephone bill, or they switch your telephone services without your knowledge or try and trick you into it. There's rental scams, investment scams, and affinity fraud are all other type of scams are popular. If you want to know more, you can contact us. If we're just about out of time. If somebody calls you on the economic impact payment, that's what the government calls it. If a scammer calls, they may call it the stimulus package. Only the government can send you the money. Nobody could get you the money any faster. Haven't got your money, you could go on the IRS website, or if you want to go on our website, the very bottom of the homepage is a link about getting my payment, take you right to the IRS site, and they may give you a credit card and we'll have some papers with it that explain everything, or a government check or a direct deposit. Right at the bottom of the website is the link. So slow down the process when you're dealing with things. Talk to family and friends. Safeguard your social security number. Protect personal information, check credit report at least once a year, check your computer and password. Also, check for online reviews for products and services, research using online services, check consumer affairs for complaints, you could call us, and use our website. Verify, verify, verify when you're hiring people. You have to make a complaint. You could either contact us or the Division of Consumer Affairs in Newark, and we ask you if you want some updates on recalls and things, sign up for our Facebook page, Bergen County Consumer Affairs. And we have any questions?
I do. Brian, I was wondering if that booklet is available online as opposed to a
Yes.
hard copy.
It's on our website.
Oh, great. Okay.
There's a link.
On the forms or publications.
Yeah, it's on the drop down. It's on the drop down.
Yeah, I believe under, if you go to the site and then maybe services and then scroll down, there'll be.
Anyone have any other questions?
Yeah, I do. I didn't hear you mention one that seems to me has to be a scam, but it's well advertised as Publishers Clearinghouse. Is that a scam, or do they really give away 20 or 30 or 40 million dollars a year?
You have any knowledge on that, Brian?
No, I mean, honestly, I've always heard that it's, reputable, that I've never seen anything to the contrary of it. So I'll have to look that up.
I know sometimes there's companies that try, or scammers that try to imitate companies in their likeness. And there are scams. I had one scam, I had a report, like a guy was told he won 680,000 and he paid out 60,000 to try and get, they told him custom taxes and regular federal taxes, and multiple people called him. Took me and another investigator to convince them that it was a scam.
Yeah.
So one of the things that Brian mentioned was that watching the grammar and spelling on emails kind of a thing to identify the fact that it's a scam. What else can we look for?
It's an odd email. Like Dennis said, the email, where it comes from will be different. If it's Verizon, it may be VerizonVE.com instead of just VerizonWireless.com. There could be some sort of minor change in how the email address is that'll clue you in that it's not the actual email address. And if you look back in some of your other emails that that you've gotten, bills or correspondence from them, compare the links, compare how it is. Again, one of the things we always say to people is, if it's your institution, if it's your utilities, your doctor, your, whatever, they already have your information. They're not going to ask you for your information. They're your bank. They're your doctor. They have your information. If anything, they may ask you to verify a portion of it. The last four of your social. They may ask you, the number of your house. They're not going to ask you your full, because they already have it. that's where you're going to start to notice that there could be an issue. If they're asking you for information that they should know, maybe you should step back and say, you know what? Wait a minute. You're my doctor. You're supposed to know all this information. You know what? I'll just call the office and things along those lines. I just got an email the other day. I had blood work done, and I got an email from, Valley Medical Group, VMG, but it said that the doctor that posted, the blood work, the results, wasn't my doctor. It was Dr. something else. So I looked at it and I was very suspicious because I never signed up for any of this stuff. I was never on their portal. It was from Midland Park Valley Medical Group. I never went to. And the doctor that said was posting it was completely different name than what I go to. So I contacted, again, myself. I'm not going to hit a link to something because I don't know where it's going to take me. So I ended up calling, and worst comes to worst, just double check your resources. That's all.
Can I say something? I have
Yeah,
my
go
hand
ahead.
up. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I had that Microsoft scam. All of a sudden I'm on the computer and I get flashing lights and it froze my screen. And it said you've had some whatever and you have to call Microsoft right now, whatever. So I was very hesitant, but I called and I'm listening to the guy. And as he's asking, I says, you know what? I'll have to call you back. Fortunately, I have a number for Microsoft and I called them and they told me what I had to do to get my computer working again. So it came once it comes on with these flashing lights and whatever, you have an emergency. And I don't know how they get into that. They told me, go to this part of your computer, empty this and do that. They walked me through it. Are you familiar with that scam?
Yeah, it's called ransomware. It's
They
a
did right,
ransomware scam. So that's why when it says you have a problem, press here. Well, because by you pressing there, you're giving them access. That's why it was very smart of you to not do anything. Contact actual Microsoft and say, listen, and they're going to, and like you said, they helped you get rid of it.
I have one more thing to say about Publishers Clearinghouse. I was a sort of an assistant, like a secretary with a number of elderly individuals. And I think that really they should be investigated because there are some elderly that they're like not 100% and they seduce them, okay, with check here and then we're going to do it next week and whatever. I think there's something that's not right with that. They may actually have somebody who wins, but the way they do it, it's hard for a person that may be semi-lightly compromised to see the difference. So I don't know whether anyone's thought to investigate them, but I'm suggesting that.
Go research that and you could give us a call. Talk to.
Yeah, well, I just wanted you to take a look. We'll take a look at that.
Yeah.
And we'll see what we can find out about it. Anybody else have any other questions?
Okay, I did have another question, and that's on the IRS scams. How I think people would like to know, so they don't call you. How would they get in touch with you if you actually had a problem?
You'd get a letter in the mail. You get a letter in the mail. They would end up contacting you officially. They're not going to call you up and say that there's an IRS investigator that's going to come and arrest you and things like that. If they're actually going to arrest you, they're not calling ahead. It's a surprise party. They're coming to your door with a warrant and they're arresting you. They're not telling you they're going to arrest you. I used to joke around. I used to get those all the time on my phone, and I'd be in a cell phone in a patrol car working. I'd be like, really? You know where I am? All right, come and get me. I'm the guy. I'm the guy with the car with the lights on it. Come on, come arrest me. Yeah. We in our office we get calls all the time on our work phones, and we talk to them all the time. The auto warranty one. Really? Yeah, I want an auto warranty. Yeah, what do I have to do? And we waste their time for about 10, 15 minutes and then go, oh, I'm sorry, I don't own that car anymore. Click,
Yeah.
If they're going to bust our chops, we're going to bust theirs.
Brian, you sound like my husband.
I get the ones where I get these, they leave a voice message. that they want to redo my student loan. And trust me, I'm a grandmother. And but sometimes when these people call on the phone, well, we're going to this and this, I says, listen, if you call me one more time, you're going to hang up now. I'm calling the police.
A lot of times these people are calling from overseas too.
Of course.
So
They're
that's why,
bedroom.
that's why I said with the local police department, you make a report, don't expect them to solve it, because even the FBI can't go arrest somebody, in India or Pakistan, whatever country the scam is from.
Again, if it doesn't seem right, it's probably not right. Always go with your instincts.
Thank you for a very informative program.
So thank you again, Dennis and Brian, and thank you again to our team who put this together, both Terry Van Delden and Columbus Kim. And we look forward to the next session, which will be on March 3rd. And we'll be talking about protecting yourself in the retail world.